here's what I can do to help, and here's what I'm going to do. When he says, I'll do whatever I can to help, that is diplomatic code for saying, I'm not going to get involved in any of this. This is your mess. You fix it. There's a very interesting language being used by Xi Jinping, and since he does not speak in the way that Donald Trump does, it takes a little more careful analysis. He said a couple of things around that Taiwan quote, that the section that you quoted earlier at the top, which were very interesting. First, he said that the Taiwan was the most important issue in relations between the two countries. Yeah. That's historically not been true. The most important issue in relations between these two countries is trade. Has always been, forever and ever. Taiwan is an important issue, but he's setting down a new marker here. He's saying that's the most important issue. And then he uses, this is very important language. He says if this issue is mishandled, it could lead to clashes and conflict. Coming from Xi Jinping, that is very, very tough language. He's never going to say it could lead to war. But that's as close as the president of China is ever going to come to saying that. Very, very tough language. And he doesn't use this language with previous presidents. He doesn't use this language with Trump before.
But what's the why? Why
well, he's sensing weakness here. He's sensing that Trump is weak. He knows Trump has come to Beijing with his hat in his hand. He needs Xi Jinping for all kinds of reasons, economic reasons and geopolitical ones. He is now establishing that I am the big dog in this room, and I am putting down these markers. I am setting...
In 2020, when Xi pulled Biden, when Premier Xi pulled Biden aside at the APEC summit in San Francisco and told President Biden bluntly, I'm going to take over Taiwan, preferably peacefully, or if not militarily. How was he not being the big dog then? And what did Joe Biden do to counter that? In fact, I read the readouts of what Biden did afterwards, and he said, well, we hope there's peace.
There's a huge difference. If you spend a career paying close attention to diplomacy, there's a huge difference between taking somebody out on a corner and having a private conversation
and then leaking it to the public.
And doing this at home to your invited guest. If you pay attention to Chinese culture, this matters. When you have a guest in your home, and it's the President of the United States, there's some language you use and there's some language you don't use. Yeah. Taiwan has been a matter of friction between China and the United States forever and ever. But there's a reason why, and this Chinese president has been there a long time. He's run through several American presidents. There's a reason why he doesn't do this in the past, and he's doing it now.
Well, first of all, Trump went on his turf in his country and sat at his place with the very warm greeting, I might add. And I really didn't expect things to go this way, but I believe that she is just using the theatrics to make him look good in front of the Chinese media. But let's be real. If there's a big dog at any table, it's President Donald Trump. And no, let's be honest with ourselves. You might not like him, but you have to agree he is crazy and nobody wants to mess with him. And in a world full of crazies, you might just have to, of course. First of all, our military capabilities has been proven with Iran. We've interjected arguably in too many wars, and if there's one person who really is not in a place to be making demands, it's President Xi. So that's why I just believe it's all words. He's not going to do anything. I agree with the U.S.'s stance on the ambiguity when it comes to Taiwan. I also feel that they're choosing that way because I don't believe they actually think Xi will do anything. So why create unnecessary tension for no reason?
Donald Trump's own behavior has endangered Taiwan. Donald Trump has bombed 10 countries in 1 year. 8 of those 10 have fewer than 100 million population. 7 of that 8, less than 50%. He's picking on small players. What does that message send to other big, powerful countries about other countries that they may want to invade? Exactly. What does it say to Russia about Ukraine?
Why are you talking about all the ceasefires
I'm just saying.
You're focusing on
when you start the war and then you stop it and call that a problem.
Wait. Excuse me. None of these wars started under Donald Trump.
The 10 bombings started under Donald Trump.
Obama dropped the bomb every 27 minutes.
On 10 countries?
Hold on a second.
No, you don't know the answer to that question. That's what the problem is.
Okay, let me just
So a couple things. Joe, you've forgotten that Biden actually was routinely criticized for taking too tough a line on China and Taiwan. So the exact opposite of what you're saying.
What did he do after he was told that?
Bingo.
Oh my God, you're totally missing the point. The point is that Donald Trump
has
tell me.
Joe.
He said
Biden
no.
said don't.
No.
That's what he did.
Read the readout of what he said after he was told, I'm going to take over Taiwan.
Go to Google it at home. You're just
did,
wrong
actually.
about
I pulled it up. I'll read it
okay,
to you.
well, then you should read a little deeper. Second thing, Trump has done a consistent yellow light on Taiwan since he flip-flopped on TikTok after getting a huge campaign donation to the 2024 campaign, which he believes helped him win election. Third, she is bringing him into sort of a strategic patience détente mindset, using rare earth way to sort of mollify the U.S. That is not a position of strength. He's got time on his side because he's a dictator for life.